I know you're tired. I know you're hurting. And I wish I could say something that was classy and inspirational.
You can do it!
But that just wouldn't be our style.
Welcome to Project Reclamation, where you rebuild, re-energize, and reclaim your life.
What up, dude?
Not much.
Just cruising? You driving?
Cruising, yeah, just driving.
Where are you driving to?
Going up to fucking the Inland Empire. Got a little appointment there, and then I'm gonna head back. And then tomorrow I'm gonna head to fucking Santa Barbara.
Oh, the Barbara, huh?
Yeah, it's Uncle Mike's 60th birthday, so he's throwing some big bash on Saturday.
Right.
So yeah, no, things are good. Things are good. I think we had a good recording last night.
You did?
Yeah, dude, as I was editing the audio, I was like, I think this is the first episode where it was just me and one other person. I feel like there's some episodes where maybe you and I talk an equal amount, but I just tend to talk more than most people for some reason. I'm an overbearing talker, apparently.
What's
but I guess,
up?
especially with Steve, I was like, Steve always talks the least, I think. I mean,
Yeah.
He goes on little rants, but when I'm looking at, you're just looking at the waveform of the audio, like, you could tell that, like, Steve just always talks the least. I'm pretty sure with last night's episode, Steve talked considerably more than I did.
Well, because it's a sports thing.
I know, but it was cool. Like, Steve was, like, excited.
Well, maybe that's what we do is we figure out topics that, I know we've probably talked about this, but that excite one of us more and just rotate,
Yeah. Well, and I think, I love your fucking patent idea because the more I dug into that, the more I liked it. And, but yeah, I mean, I think maybe like every fucking third episode, we either pick a speech or a person or something that's based in a sports story that you and I can, talk about, but that, we will let Steve run with it.
Well, and we do 3 of those and then a bonus episode for the month.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right on.
But yeah, I think it was good.
Cool, man.
I fucking slept weird and I woke up all fucked up.
Yeah, I'm still, my body's been fighting off some sort of sore throat thing because Jake's been sick and exhaustion and,
what
emotional warfare.
You need to let Jake just start spitting in your mouth like once a week and then like deal with the sickness and then eventually you'll have like the best immune system ever.
Well, yeah, it's like the Chumash, making poison oak tea. Eventually become immune to it.
Well, I mean, is that not how we do fucking vaccinations today? So yeah.
Well, no, for sure. That you actually inject the dead virus into your system.
Yeah, exactly. They were onto something.
No, for sure. Shit, dude. Like when you have kids, they pretty much spit in your mouth in some way, shape, or form.
Well, yeah, for sure. Well, and I think that you and I as kids, I think we cultivated stronger immune systems than kids today, just because we played outside and played the dirt and ate the dirt and licked poles and shit, like whatever. Like who cares? Now kids, like they don't. I'm sure you encourage your children to play outside and do the stuff that we did, but I think a lot of kids.
I don't know, dude. I'm being completely honest with you as a dad. I'm like terrified of that. Like, I want him to do that, but at the same time, I'm like I feel like I have him at an arm's length at all times. I mean, he's only 2, but.
Well, I mean, he is only 2. That's fine. But I'm saying an arm's length. If he's not. At arm's length, like taking him places is still a hell of a lot better than fucking iPad babysitters,
No, for sure.
Babysitters. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the kids who. So
we're going to the beach in November. We're gonna go check out the Blue Angels in Pensacola.
Oh, nice.
Kind of start the air show tradition like me and my dad used to do.
I haven't been so fucking long.
Dude, I think maybe next year we should go to Miramar.
We should, because that's like legitimately one of the best ones ever.
Oh, dude, my dad and I used to go to that one all the time.
Well, I feel like you and I went to that one a few times. I remember
we went once with Roebling's dad.
Dude, that was so much fun to fucking sit in the general's tent.
Hell yeah.
Problem is, it's like getting box seats at a fucking game, and it's like after that, it's like regular seats just aren't the same anymore.
No, I know.
Yeah, getting free food, free fucking beer at the general's tent, badass.
I know. I've been trying to figure out how to reconnect with people without I feel like I've fallen into that category. I don't know if we've talked about this before. Of, I only reconnect with people when I either, I feel like I always do it when I need something from them.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of people.
I don't even do it then.
Or I want something from them. But I think I need to take a page out of the book of George Bush Sr. and just start, like, handwriting small notes and sending them to people, like, during the holidays and stuff.
I thought you were going to say something about, like, running the country in a shadow government fashion and being a...
Well, I mean, obviously. But that's, dude, honestly, though, that's how you run a fucking shadow government, is by being in touch with people and...
that's all...
And having people owe you favors and shit. And the fact that somebody in that, position of power remembers you, that's hugely powerful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why do you think Garth is so big right now, dude? He fucking can remember, like, his bus driver's name from 20 years ago that subbed for a real bus driver. Shit like that.
Even at times when he had every right to be a fucking Hollywood elite asshole, he's always carried a certain amount of humility. And
yeah, even if it's somewhat contrived or fake, it's like,
well, I mean,
he sells it well.
I remember back before he retired, I remember he would demand that ticket prices be kept under a certain dollar amount so that everyone could afford to see him in concert.
Dude, they're still all the same price no matter where you are in the arena.
Yeah, okay, yeah, but I mean, I remember that being a big demand of his, and I mean, that I always thought that was really cool because he was I mean, he could fill a stadium faster than anyone. At no matter what the prices were, he could charge hundreds of dollars for seats, and people would still pay it, but he didn't.
Well, dude, I just had an idea. So, as far as the podcast goes, Steve can do the sports inspiration. I can do like media or like music / movie inspiration, and then you can do the rest.
Okay.
I mean, the rest is a big chunk of the pie.
Well,
but you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but I mean, most of it's going to fall under the
actual motivation.
Right. Like
motivation.
Tony, because that's what I know more than you guys, and I'm the one who fucking goes down Jocko rabbit holes and Eric Thomas rabbit holes and Tony Robbins rabbit holes.
Yeah, and like you respond to the actual motivation stuff a lot better than say Steve and I do.
Yeah.
Because he gets inspired by these sports stories, and I get inspired by songs and movies, more so than you all do. So that's
apparently
Steve
doesn't even enjoy music at all. He doesn't even hear.
That's what I'm saying.
He doesn't even hear his lyrics. He just hears a cacophony of sounds, and that blew my mind because I've known Steve for so long. I had no idea.
Yeah, I didn't either. I mean, I'd kind of heard about that a little bit from him, but not to that degree that he's just like whatever.
I guess I just on some level I assumed Steve loved some kind of music. I guess I would have guessed that it wasn't the kind of music I love, although I'm pretty eclectic. But yeah, I didn't realize that I don't even know that I know anybody that. I mean, my dad listens to music when he works out. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
But on that same token, something I've been doing for years is, and I don't do it so much anymore because now I think I don't even care what music I'm listening to when I work out. It's literally just a distracting noise to me. But for years, when I would actually make playlists on my iPad or on my iPod, I would interlace my songs with audio of inspirational speeches.
Oh, really?
Now they had to be like Eric Thomas or Ray Lewis or someone that's very sensationally speaking,
Yeah.
Like I don't think I don't know that Jocko would have done it for me. Because it had to be people who speak like this, almost like a preaching kind of a style, And
yeah, like the what's his name from the Dodge commercial? God Made a Farmer.
Oh, Paul Harvey. Yeah,
Paul
but
Harvey.
almost even more sensational that. Like Ray Lewis. Like pick a Ray Lewis speech. Go Google anything Eric Thomas ever says. Like that kind of stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah,
I wouldn't say that on the podcast, but yeah, that's pretty much.
You're a huge fan of Reverend Al Sharpton. I get it.
Hey, I will say the way that he speaks is incredibly compelling, and I think that's
for
part
sure.
of what gets me going.
Can't stand what actually comes out of his mouth. But
the content of his speech is fucking garbage. But
well, I mean, do you want to talk about speakers? I mean, look at Hitler. I mean, people fucking
every dictator ever, dude. Mao Zedong.
Yeah. They knew how to talk to people.
Fidel Castro, Hitler, Mussolini. I'm sure you go back, dude. I'm sure Julius Caesar was a phenomenal orator. I'm sure fucking Genghis Khan was a phenomenal orator. I'm sure they all were. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I mean Hitler, just like all the other people I just named. You know, they may have started off with admirable goals, and they all did.
Well, and most of them did. I mean, you look at any of those dictators, and they were loved.
It depends on how long how long their end game was, because I mean, some of them were conniving enough to win the love of the people, knowing that that's how they would get done what they need to get done. But there's no way of knowing. It could have also been that they did have pure intentions, but then, you know, absolute power corrupts absolutely.
I was just gonna say it's the ring of power. You know, yeah. I mean, there's no way to. Frodo Baggins doesn't really exist.
Yeah,
he does chronologically in the fact that those who have power for a certain amount of time.
He does in that his name was Jesus Christ.
Well, yeah. But I mean, you know, argue what you will if he either existed or not. You know, I mean, that's.
No, I'm just saying in history, like the one person who could have had enough power, whether he was really the son of God or not, people still believed he was. So I mean, he could have amassed enough power.
Any deity, it's Buddha, it's Allah, it's any of those.
I mean, I guess I was saying Jesus Christ was really a man. In real history, and whether or not he really is the son of God, there was plenty of people while he was alive that believed that, and he could have certainly done a lot of different things with that power, but, you know, he didn't, obviously. But if he did, then clearly we would know he wasn't really the son of God, but hey. I mean, I'm sure there's good people in history. I mean, I think fucking King Richard, maybe? I don't even know if he's real, but hey.
Well, and it's funny because, like, you want to get down to, like...
George Washington, dude. He could have been the king of America and ended up being a huge tyrant, but he knew that was the wrong thing to do, and so he stepped aside.
You know, doing the two term, being the first president, obviously, but setting the stage for the 2-term.
But even before that, you know, they wanted him to be the king, and he was like, no. We just shed a lot of blood to get away from that. It's not going to happen.
It's like... What the fuck, really? Like,
but that's the same mentality that happens every other time. He was just one of the leaders who was humble enough or smart enough to say no. Like, I mean, you know, Fidel, Saddam, Hitler, they all got someone bad out of power and took the helm and took care of the people, and they were like, we want you to be the king. And
it ultimately boils down to insecurity, because if you're insecure enough, you're gonna, you know, it's just like anything else. It's like being a bully, you know.
Well, and also, I think to be a good leader on some level, you kind of have to hate leading, or hate parts of leading. I mean, I think that's like one of the main characteristics of a good leader is not wanting to do it, but knowing that you have to do it. I don't know that I ever realized that till I realized how much I hate most parts of being a manager, and I think those are what keep me grounded and make me a good manager. And I'm totally guessing, but I'm guessing George Washington really, whether he thought it was right or not, maybe he just didn't want to be the fucking king. He's like, I don't like doing this, but I know it's the right thing to do, and that's probably what made him a good leader, because he was really doing it for the people, and he didn't enjoy the power necessarily.
And you can kind of draw the parallel to these days, and I know it's all manipulated and orchestrated, but I mean, look at Trump. Because he's not, I mean, quote unquote, a politician. I think he wants to lead, but he made that, his was sort of that artificial telling people that he didn't want to lead.
Yeah.
You know, because he's all like, oh, yeah, you know, I'm not a politician. Oh, yeah, okay, people said I should run for president.
Well, and I think for him there might be, because it's not like, I don't think it's a ring for him, because I think he's had the ring forever. He's had as much power as he's ever wanted for as long as we've been alive. And
oh, yeah, exactly.
So I don't think he's necessarily in that power hungry state that a lot of them get when they just have never had that much power before. For him, I think there's probably some level of him that probably does have that, but he's also just Trump, and there's just a lot of issues there. But
I don't get what motivates him. I really don't.
I think just success.
It's like it's like a drug, dude. Like what? Like, you know, to me, that's bad. You know,
wanting success.
No, wanting it that much.
Yeah, but I feel like being driven by success, because I think at the end of the day, I think success for him means running the country in a. Now I don't know the details, but I would say for him, like running the country like a successful business, which is still better than the drug of power that I think he's had long enough that I don't think it's necessarily intoxicating to him.
But at the same time, you have to, as a business, you have to have competition. So who's the competition?
The other countries, I guess, or just our own. Maybe our own. Well, I don't mean that in like a military fashion. I mean like maybe.
No.
Honestly, I think for him it's like financially, like the balance books. You know, basically, I guess the competition is ourselves and the status quo.
Well, and it ultimately, for that, it comes down to the whole, you know, bringing the military-industrial complex back because that's good for. That's what made America great, wasn't it? I mean, quote unquote.
Kind of, yeah.
You know, back in the war days when, you know, the factories were booming.
But I mean, the two things that made America great in the last 200 years were the Industrial Revolution, where we were making a bunch of shit, producing a bunch of shit, and the military-industrial complex. And there was definitely a lot of overlap, like you just said. But it's like if those are two of the best options, we're not bringing manufacturing and industry back to the country because we already fucked that up.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, honestly, to start fucking drilling in Central California, that'll fix things, but that's never gonna happen.
Don't they already do that?
Not nearly as much as they could. Dude, there's more oil in the Central Valley of California than there is in the entire Middle East, times 5.
Wow.
But because we're California, they're never going to touch it. I mean, they do a little bit in like Bakersfield and stuff, but that's all legacy shit. Like they won't touch any of the stuff that's not already being touched.
Well, yeah, yet.
I guess what I'm saying is Trump's motivations are in my mind the lesser of two evils. Not the two evils because there's more than two, but I think at the end of the day he wants America to be successful. And his ideas of success, the problems may lie there. I don't know. I haven't even. I've kind of accepted.
Yeah, it's not necessarily. I mean, it's not necessarily a problem. It's just
no. But I've accepted the fact that politicians and the president are never gonna do anything good anyways. A long time ago. So. Well,
it got me thinking about that email you sent me this morning.
I didn't even read it. I was literally sitting in the chiropractor's office, and my dad sent it to me. He said, "Forward this to JB."
It's a video showing staffers for Bredesen basically lying about his decision to, if he voted for, if he got into Congress, he would vote for what's his name, Kavanaugh.
Now I don't. With Kavanaugh, there's like what, some fucking sexual thing going on. Yeah.
So Brett Kavanaugh is up for Supreme Court judge.
Okay.
And basically the liberals found some chick that was part of his past that they were at a party at when they were like 15 and she was 13 or something like that. And apparently he sexually assaulted her in some way, shape, or form.
Wow.
Which to me
did they already try this?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's
but at the same time,
Clarence Thomas. That's right.
Yeah, exactly. It's ridiculous. But you know, his reputation is permanently stained. You know, He made it in, but you can't tell me that they're not gonna have him not decide cases because of certain things. Well,
I would assume he would have to recuse himself from anything that has anything to do with sexual assault.
Yeah. So. And I don't know. It was a political play because the Democrats don't have somebody in the White House.
Right. No, that's exactly what it is. Yeah. And then it's such a political football that the sad thing is we'll never know if he's really a good guy or not.
It doesn't matter anymore.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We'll never know because it doesn't matter because the game is politics and I mean, I feel like Clarence Thomas was total bullshit, But yeah, I mean, he still carries that around. I mean, shit. You say Clarence Thomas and Anita Hills, that's the first thing that comes to my mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when the KKK was formed, their original enemy was the Republican Party.
Yep. No, exactly. They were democratically supported back then.
I don't know, and I know like things have changed a little bit, but I don't know how the Democrats have so craftfully sidestepped the fact that for 100 years they were the party of racism.
Well, that's what I'm saying is the whole system is so silly like that it
really is.
It's this weird, helix. It just keeps spinning, over time.
It's retarded, really.
And people are so caught up in the moment that they can't take a step back and look at the big picture and be like, oh, shit, really?
Yeah.
And now, as soon as you say that to somebody, you're a conspiracy theorist. Oh, no, that's not true. It's like, dude, go Google it.
Well, I mean, somebody, somewhere, or maybe it was a very happy accident, they have masterfully painted thinkers like you and I to automatically be branded as conspiracy theorists, and we get thrown in the cage with Alex Jones and fucking Bill Cooper and all the fucking
that's all CIA right there.
Militia idiots. Yeah. No, I have to tip my hat to them because it's fucking genius. Because if you say anything about, well, Sandy Hook was kind of fishy, or the Las Vegas shooting was kind of fishy, automatically you're a fucking flat earther, and you're ridiculous, and you hate children, and, yeah. Yeah,
that's why to be a conspiracy theorist, you really have to be, like, under the radar.
Well, I mean, I think, we don't have a huge audience, but I think we've done a good job of sort of glazing the topic without diving into it and presenting ourselves as nothing more than free thinkers and on the podcast, and I think that's about all we can do is a little bit at a time.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Small bites, baby steps.
Small bites.
Toys R Us. I just was driving by a sign that said Toys R Us. Aren't they all closed now?
I think so.
I think so, too. Or at least all the American ones are. I think Tori was telling me that they still have them in Canada.
Toys R Us, yeah.
Hey, Toys R Us.
Toys are for all of us.
Every toy purchase comes with a free maple syrup.
Tim Hortons R Us.
Right. Fucking hockey, Tim Hortons, and Toys R Us, and maple syrup, and baby seals, and moose.
Yeah. Have you been to Canada?
No.
We should go. We should all go to Banff.
Go to where?
Banff.
That's a real city?
Yeah, Banff, Alberta.
Oh. I always just thought it stood for badass motherfucker.
Well, I think there's two F's, so it'd be like
badass
motherfucker.
Motherfucker. Badass motherfucking fucker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you doing today?
I'm re-editing my reel because I finished it, and I just had a little kind of like breakthrough of, okay, I showed it to Kristen, and she's like, I like it. Let's do this. And I was like, okay, sweet.
Cool.
She had good points, so I'm refining it, and it shouldn't take as long. Nice. My computer is what's holding me back because it just takes 2 or 3 times as long as it should because it can't do it real time really.
Okay.
Because it's just too taxing with the 4K footage and stuff like that. So.
Oh yeah.
So I'm doing it, but it's just everything I do 2 or 3 times longer than it should. So. Yeah. But that's not. I'm not. It's not. It is what it is. Getting it in.
Makes sense.
You know how it goes.
I do. Yeah. Like I know that if I upload a video to YouTube at my house, I know it takes like fucking 2 minutes. So my Wi-Fi must be decent. When I was trying to upload a YouTube video at my grandparents' house, it took like 8 hours.
Oh yeah.
Fucking crazy, dude. Yeah.
Yep. So that's what I'm up to today. Just ran some errands. The whole doctor thing. I know there's a lot of them that are good, but some of them are just like, Durr.
Yeah.
Well, and they don't want to. It comes down to why would they want to cure you when they can treat you? You know. Yeah.
Well, I think there's some of that. I think there's a lot less of that on the doctor plane than there is on the drug plane. But
But do you think it's just incompetence then?
I honestly think if it comes down to maliciousness versus incompetence, and I think with doctors, a lot of the time it's more incompetence. But also, I think part of it is, you know, we see our general practitioners for everything, and maybe they're good at, you know, simple things, but I don't think they're very good at other things.
No, she was at her damn.
Well,
what you call it? And she's had plenty of her like what do you call it?
I think doctors. I think doctors get put on a pedestal of being smarter than they really are.
I would completely agree with that.
But even your general practice, I just feel like it's a field that invites a lot of, I don't know, social awkwardness, if nothing else. But they, you know, they get their training, and if you're a surgeon, you know, you're talking about you double your years of training, because you have, if you're a general practitioner, you know, you 4 years of med school, 3 years of residency, and that's it. And it's your residency, they try to give you a little taste of everything in 3 years, but, you know, depending on who's teaching you and how good they are and how good of a learner you are, it just, and I don't know, it's just, there's a lot of
it's kind of a decaying model in that way.
A little bit.
You know, because if there's incompetence, then the incompetence is diluted.
A little bit.
As you teach.
I think if you're a surgeon, you know, but then if you're a surgeon, you're talking about 5 years of residency plus another year to 2 or 3 years of fellowship, where you're basically still a student. And if you train under, you know, the better vascular surgeons or whatever surgeons, then you have a better chance of. But if you're a general practitioner, like, you don't get any of that. Like, there is no training under the best of the best.
Yeah, that's true.
It's literally you get your 3 years of let's learn. You know, it's like taking your GE, you know, your general education.
Well, it's just basically anatomy and biology and chemistry.
Right,
on steroids.
And then your residency is, but it's all diagnosis. Like, you know, yeah, some of them are good, but they're all diagnosing shit based on you telling them something and you know, a couple of looking in your fucking eyes and ears and shit with some stuff. Now, the specialists, there's no fucking excuse for specialists to suck. That's the truth.
Yeah, because, I mean, they're doing, you know, tests and digging in, and, yeah, it is what it is. Whatever. But I'm very thankful that there are good doctors out there. I shouldn't be in. You know, I sounded very.
And doctors are constantly getting fucked by the system too. So, like, I feel like you kind of have to take that into consideration.
Absolutely.
Because even there is a small percentage of them that are money grubbing, and will do shit that's. We'll either won't do the right shit or we'll do the wrong shit just to get more money, but most of them don't fall into that class. Most of them are just trying to keep the lights on and trying to treat their patients, and they're just constantly getting their shit, you know, reimbursement cut and their payments cut and all this other stuff. And
doctors are like Atlas.
Yeah. So, you know, they're
trying to move forward with a globe on their back.
Exactly. I mean, you know, they're getting fucked, and most of them are they're just trying to do the right thing, but that doesn't mean they're good at what they do, because there's a lot of them that aren't, and
Yeah. Well, and I feel like today too, with like so much today, people want doctors to fix them for shit that they're doing to themselves.
Oh, man, I was in the VA, and there's this guy, we were literally in prosthetics, because we wanted to talk to the purchasing agent who is in charge of, you know, basically purchasing all of our shit. And there was a guy there who, based on he looked like he was probably in his 50s, but he looked like he was in really good shape and took really good care of himself. So, I mean, he could have been 70, who knows? But there was this other guy, man, they were putting him in this new wheelchair, and this guy probably weighed 600 pounds. And the guy's like, you know, every time I come in here, he's in here, and they're giving him a new chair. And I didn't know exactly where he was going with that. So me being like, I'm like, yeah, well, you know, I'm glad they, you know, try to take care of people. And he goes, no, it's just like to take care of him, they would really need to just take the food out of his fucking mouth. I'm just like, don't disagree with you, but I'm not going to get into this conversation here in public, sir.
Yeah, exactly. That's a slippery slope.
And that guy was older, so I mean, you know, he was, you know, I mean, he could have been Vietnam era, fucking, who knows what kind of mental shit he came back with, and who knows how fucking shitty our VA system took care of him, and that his bad habits may be a product of just people not caring about him. So, that could go
Well,
back.
and then that's not. But I'm saying,
Unraveling the sweater. Now, if that were not a VA hospital, my tune would have been totally agreeing with the guy.
Mm-hmm.
But because I don't know, I tend to think that a lot of people have a lot of problems because they fought for our country, and in that era, half of them fucking got drafted, so they didn't have a fucking choice. And then we just literally fucked them over when they got back, and there's a lot of fucking homeless people with mental problems, all kinds of problems that I think that we're responsible for. Not you and I, obviously, but our country.
No. I get what you're saying for sure, and I agree with you because.
And that's the way that those people were treated when they got back. Because I mean, dude, soldiers before that and soldiers after that, even when people hate the wars and hate the government and hate the whatever, they still don't seem to today. And I think during the world wars and stuff, they didn't take it out on the soldiers. But during that era, and honestly, fucking what's her name, Jane Fonda had a huge hand in this, and fuck her forever for this. They treated the soldiers like shit. And half of them were
the whole baby killers back in the 60s and 70s.
And half of them were fucking drafted. They didn't even sign up for the military. And we treated them like shit and ruined a lot of people's lives. And like I said, dude, there's homeless people fucking screaming at invisible purple monsters on street corners all over the country because of that. And there's people like this guy, and I don't know if this is because of that, but there's people like him all over because of that. You know, it's fucking sad. But
yeah,
and fuck Jane Fonda. I hope there is a special place in hell for her.
Well, she's just as much of a pawn as they are, just in the higher game.
Well, yeah, but she was a pawn who used a platform that she had.
No, I know.
To parrot some shit that she thought she was a revolutionary, and it harmed a lot of people.
Yeah, it really did. Did you see that was it in Nashville? Haunted house trip, what turns bloody when woman stabs pal with knife thinking it was a prop?
No, dude, really? That's fucking... There's no way that's true, though.
It was in Nashville yesterday.
No, I feel like she wanted to stab someone, and that was the excuse.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right? I mean, what better way to stab someone than, like, in a haunted house and just like, oh, my God, I thought it was a prop.
Well, and what better publicity stunt, because Nashville's got, like, one of the best haunted houses in the country.
Oh, yeah.
To actually think that, oh, God, someone got stabbed in here? Like, duh, are you kidding me?
Well, and the true horror fans will actually probably love that. Like, ooh, that makes it more dangerous.
This has publicity stunt written all over it.
Yep.
Oh, I'm a flat earther.
You really are. Yeah, for sure.
I know I am.
Which is funny because what we just did was we went to literally the most logical conclusion.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, it's like the Las Vegas shooting. But try telling that to someone from Las Vegas. No, it wasn't that guy. No, I'm not saying people didn't die. I'm saying it wasn't that guy that killed people. But hey.
Yeah. Well, that's the system that we live in action. That's that MK Ultra mind control shit.
Taking a step back, I have to appreciate the success they've had.
Yeah, I kind of want to find it and recreate it in some way, shape, or form for sales or.
Well, exactly, and see, that's like we have a competitor that. They're under FBI investigation and SEC investigation right now because they've done some stupid shit. But they have been phenomenally successful, and like 75-80% of that was legitimate without being shady. But so many people from my company just look at it and they're just so disgusted. Oh, we can't be like them. I'm like, no, there's a good percentage of their business model we should probably study and follow. We should just leave out all the fucking illegal shit.
Exactly.
But people are just so wrapped up in their own emotions and their own principles.
We are the most judgmental society I've
ever
seen.
Oh my God, yes. Well, yes and no, but yes.
No. The ones who claim to be the least judgmental are typically the most judgmental.
Oh, I totally agree with you. Like people from the Bay Area. I mean, perfect example. Like they're so like they're so anti like SoCal. Like, oh, they're so fake, they're so this, they're so that, when, like, the truth of the matter is that they're actually more judgmental. I mean, it's like liberals and Republicans, the liberals think that they're or fucking all the race baiters. They're more racist than the people that they say are racist most of the time. But like we were saying, dude, whatever model they used to develop where we are now and how people jump to those thoughts so quickly, I would like to study it and recreate it in my own model, and then make everyone on Earth call you and I gods.
Well, we don't need to go that far, but
I was kidding.
75% of that, because we know absolute power corrupts. We've had some conversation already.
I don't want to be a god. I just want to be the guy behind the scenes. Well, actually, I guess I can't be the guy behind the scenes because I'm too good of a talker. But I will use my.
You can be the wizard.
All right. But I will use my powers for good, not evil.
Yeah. Well, obviously. But you can't. Good is a relative term, I guess.
Well, my good is someone else's evil.
Exactly.
But I think that, not to go all fucking super religious or anything, but I think that if my good is somewhere in line with God's good, then I think I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
And if my good, well, you know, if it overall benefits more people than it hurts.
Well, and that's.
But then again, that's the exact same thing that every fucking dictator's ever probably said.
You kind of brought up an interesting point with the whole, because religion has become sort of that power. So, and it's obviously corrupted.
And it's always been. I mean, religion's always been power. I mean, ever since the fucking Middle Ages.
Yeah, hearts and minds. You have hearts and minds?
Yeah.
That's power. Back when currency wasn't a thing, you just went out and took your shit.
With absolute power comes absolute corruption. And I mean, dude, there was hundreds of years where the Catholic Church was more fucking powerful than the king of any country. And for anyone to say that there was no corruption in the church, I mean, I'm sure I don't have an example of it off the top of my head, but I know there was. There had to have been.
You could argue that it's still that way.
Yeah, but they don't have as much power. But it definitely is still that way.
I don't know. There's all kinds of shit.
Yeah,
it's an endless conversation, really.
Well, yeah, and it is what it is. And I guess conversations like these are why we put most of our focus on the podcast towards focusing on shit locally that you can control.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know.
It is what it is.
I need a
lobotomy.
A bottle in front of me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. You get Steve talking about a topic that he likes, because even yesterday he's like, all right, man, let's just get in and get out and do this. And he's like, well, I'll just be here for an hour. And we ended up, I mean, he was probably at my house for 2 hours. And I mean, I think I was the one who kind of cut it off at the end, and we talked for, I think, an hour and 15 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I think I need ice at a hot tub.
Oh,
not
you're
at
sore?
the same time. Yeah, just like I don't know, like my shoulder's been all fucked up, and it turns out, dude, I had a when the pain kind of started moving around a little bit. It was like sometimes it was like my shoulder, and I think my AC joint it was kind of locked up. So my chiropractor, well, you know my chiropractor, Dr. John, he's got his own practice now. It's very cool, but now I feel like I want to help him. I think I'm gonna blast him on Facebook a little bit, because I want him to get more. I want it to work for him, because he's a good dude and he's a good chiropractor, and chiropractors, even more so than doctors, are maybe the same. It's so easy to become a chiropractor. I feel like there's so many out there that just don't get anything done, and that's why.
and their risk is slightly less.
For sure, but I mean,
because they're not really diagnosing internally.
Right? No, they are, absolutely. But a good chiropractor can make a big difference in your life. And I don't think it's I don't think it's a silver bullet. I don't think it's a fix-all, but I think it's a hell of a tool to use. And I think that a lot of chiropractors, a lot of people are like, oh, well, chiropractors, like, they adjust you once and you just have to keep going back. And yeah, there's truth to that. But I also think there's a lot of chiropractors.
Well, you don't just change your car's oil once.
Exactly.
It's maintenance. Like, you have to have maintenance on your body.
It's like, it's like when you tune a piano, and even more so than a guitar, like if a piano hasn't been tuned in a long time, you got to get it tuned once, and then you literally have to get it tuned like once a week for a couple weeks, and then it's like once a month, because it's been where it was for so long. Its tendency is to go back to where it was. and your muscles work the same way. So yeah, if you haven't been to a chiropractor ever or in a long time, you're going to have to go at least once a week for at least a few weeks, maybe a few months, and then you can tone it back to twice a month, and then at some point you can go once a month, or I would say once a month is probably like the minimum, but
that's kind of where I'm at right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I was at like once a month, and then I didn't go for like 2 months, and now I'm gonna need to go like twice a week for the next couple of weeks, and then from there. But anyways, so I have this fucking rib like right near my left shoulder blade that it's ever since fucking football or wrestling. I can't remember where it happened, but it just pops out of place on a regular basis. And if I don't get it, when I was getting it fixed regularly, it wasn't creating a lot of problems. But I think now, because it's been so long, I think it's been out for a while. And I think my body, your body pulls on muscles and does a lot of things to try and fix it. But if it doesn't fix it, all your body ends up doing is just fucking a lot of other things up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where I am. So it's like it's affecting like my neck and my fucking traps and this and that. And I think that's probably how I fucked up my shoulder, because I reawoke that injury. And anyways.
You awoke a sleeping injury.
I did, man. I did. But I got to say, the injuries that we walked away from, even if they're recurring, I mean, at least I'm not looking at, fuck, Nick is like 43, and he already had a fucking shoulder reconstruction surgery, and
yeah.
So, yeah, I don't have any metal in my body or fake joints so far, so I think I'm doing all right.
Thank God.
Yeah, because the worst thing about those is a lot of them, maybe they're better nowadays, but a lot of them, like, in recent history, like, a fake joint is only good for about 10 years. Now, I mean, if you get it when you're 60, like, you're probably not going to have it redone. But if you get it when you're 40, yeah, you're going to have it redone probably twice before you die.
Yeah, people don't say that.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. All right, dude. I need to get to work here for another hour or so.
Right,
I'll give you a shot later. I think
all right, yeah, when I get...
I'll probably have most of the night open, but I need to get some work done. So.
All right, yeah.
But I'll give you a shot here later.
I know Steve's working, but I mean, if you're thinking this deeply later on this evening, I wouldn't be opposed to jumping on and collecting some audio.
Okay.
So what I believe you were trying to say is thank you.